Hey, welcome to Wake Up with KC. This is KC here, and today I have another special guest joining us today. And my special guest was brought into the corporate world and was facing racism and corruption and went on an unexpected path of enlightenment. And she channels celestial beings, and her transformational journey she's going to share with us and what she does to help you as well. So please welcome Heather Bryant.
Hello. So good
I love talking to other people that channel. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's so fun to meet someone else that channels. That gets it, understands it.
Oh yes. And it's, channeling, because we know certain people that channel Elizabeth April, Bashar, and they have a different aspect of their channeling. And, my channeling started in my late 40s, early 50s. It's been a wild ride. And it is an experience. I share that with my audience. Like, look, channeling is an experience. It's, it can be intense. Everybody does it differently. And everybody has, there are, I believe, our spirit guides, our ancient ancestors, guardian angels that are trying to communicate with us to help guide us on a better path. And, share your story with us.
Okay. Well, I'll start with, I was raised in religion, Christian church. And so there was a lot of fear, a lot of judgment, a lot of heaven and hell and punishment and reward and all that stuff. And then that never really felt right to me. It didn't really make any sense. And I always had a huge fear of death. And then I was also told, that who I was, and I'm a smart girl, and I'm going to go get a job, and I'm going to get into a corporate system, and I'm going to work until I'm 65 and retire and have some money to retire. I had the whole thing all planned out because everyone tells us, from the time we come out of the womb. I talk a lot about this on my TikTok channel. So I got into the system, and I was very successful at one of the largest banks in the country. And was recruited for all the jobs I held because I didn't realize at the time, this is before I woke up and started channeling, but I have a gift for really connecting in and seeing what people's gifts are and what they're here for and what they're meant to do. And so I would be recruited to take over the lowest performing territories, markets, call centers in the company, and transform them every single time, from literally last out of, dead last into the top 2% of the company, not just with sales performance. I was in the sales area, but with customer service experience scores, and there's satisfaction with management scores. So they were moving from dead last in the top 2%, and they were the happiest people in the company doing it. So I loved what I did, but it was so heavy. I didn't realize at the time, why it was so heavy, but it was just a lot of greed, a lot of more, right? So the last few years of my career, I was recruited over to take over a territory of banking centers. I had like 15 banking centers that I was responsible for. I had come from the mortgage department over into a new area to transform this territory. And within a year, the person that recruited me left, and the people that replaced him just went on a rampage. They were asking us to fire minorities. They were threatening and pushing us to fire minorities, specifically minority women. And they were forcing us to push banking products that increased their bonuses. So specifically credit cards and checking accounts. And they had abusive routines that they were having everyone do to push these things. And I was standing up against it. I had my whole career, I had transformed teams with no pressure, without firing a bunch of people, with love and support and, the feeling of equality, and because we're all equal, we all have different gifts. And I kept telling them, we don't need to do this. Look I've already taken my team from the last to the top. I'm helping all these other teams in my area do this. We don't need to be firing people. We don't need to be pushing these products. And they did not like that I was pushing back. I was the only one pushing back. They started bullying me so bad. The people who reported to me, everyone was trying to move into my territory because this was happening across everywhere. This was happening across the company, but in the state of Oregon. So people were trying to move into my territory because they could see that I was protecting, I was standing up against all this. So they were bullying me. I was protecting people and trying to protect myself. And it got so bad I had a stroke in my 30s. It was absolutely horrible. But still I stayed. And I had this feeling that I wasn't meant to leave. Everyone kept saying, you need to quit. And I'm like, no, I'm going to retire at 65. I was regurgitating the script. I'm going to retire. And they're like, you need to quit. This is killing you, like literally killing you. And I couldn't find a way out. So one day, August of 2019, I was laying in bed depressed on a Sunday, 3:00 in the afternoon. And I was just so depressed to go to work the next day. And I just remember saying, if there's anything out there that can hear me, if there's anything at all that's out there beyond this, because again, I grew up in religion and I was questioning the story that I was told, didn't feel right. If there's anything that can help me, please help me. I feel like soul dying. And immediately after, I started seeing 555 everywhere. Never noticed numbers before. And I started seeing palindromes everywhere, which is numbers or words that are the same backwards and forwards. And I was like, couldn't understand why I was seeing all those things. I finally looked up 555 a few weeks later, and I saw that it was an angel number, and it meant something big is about to happen, but it's for your own good. And I had no idea what that meant because I wasn't spiritual at all at the time. And in November 2019, I was called in and I was let go, and they didn't give me any reason. They just said, we're letting you go. You've been a phenomenal employee, because in the state of Oregon, in most states, you don't need a reason. So I thought I was going to wait these guys out. Everyone said, you're going to wait them out. There's turnover at that level all the time. But they let me go. And I was just never thinking, what? I have my whole life planned out. What are you talking about? They offered me $100,000 to stay silent. So I couldn't talk about anything that happened there. And so everybody in my life said, take the money, because I didn't know, how am I going to find another job at this level? I was pretty high up in the company, an executive. And I thought, how am I going to find another job at this level? It's going to take time. And everyone said, take the money. But something inside of me said, don't take the money. Didn't take the money. I was about 3 months later, visited by two angels. They appeared to me around 11:30 at night. I was laying in bed, dead awake, could not go to sleep. And I had come home that day from a meeting, and I came in to the house to pour a glass of wine. And this voice that I heard everywhere, this voice was all encompassing. It was like I was sleeping and I was hearing it right in my ear. It was so loud. And it said, don't drink tonight. And so I was like, that's bizarre, but I didn't really think anything of it. Even though there was a voice that was everywhere, I just, okay, I won't drink. So I'm making dinner. I turn around, I look at the bottle of wine, and I think, oh, a glass of wine sounds good. I'll have a glass of wine with dinner. And again, the voice said, don't drink tonight. And since then, I've learned that when we drink or we're on substances, it disconnects us from hearing our higher self or hearing or discerning it. So I was told, don't drink tonight. So I went to bed. I'm laying in bed, totally awake. And these two light beings appeared to me, and they spoke to me for 3.5 hours. And they shared a whole bunch of things. And one of the things was they guided me to create a blog about my experience, and I didn't know why, but I did it. I created a blog. I'm not technology inclined at all, but I figured it out. And my blog, they told me to start posting it everywhere. So I started posting it everywhere, and I started receiving testimonies from people all over the country that were saying that they're experiencing this same thing at the company. And that led me to, I soon after following that direction, I started receiving psychic downloads for strangers in public, and then channeling this cosmic group of beings that have been sharing messages for the awakening. So this is where I'm at now.
Wow. That was, yeah, that's impressive. And so you started, you started a blog? But how you just would meet people randomly, and they would give you and that's how your journey started?
Well, so the light beings told me to create this blog. They told me lots of things. They showed me the earth. They showed me the earth has a grid around it. They showed me all kinds of stuff. But one of the things related to my, the corporate stuff, I created this blog and then started posting the link to the blog, and that was reaching people all over the country. And they were writing into me saying, this is happening to me. I'm getting bullied. I'm being pressured to push products. So what they did was what these corporations do. HR is set up to protect the company, but you think HR is to help you, but they're there to help the company. So if anybody escalates anything that feels like fraud or abuse, then what they do is they silence you with fear. And so my blog, what it did was it showed all these people, and it showed me that we aren't alone, that this is happening. This is a this is something that's happening all over the place, and good people are being silenced in order for the corruption to continue. So I created that blog, and like I said, soon after, I remember I went out with my husband. We went out to eat. We were sitting at a restaurant, and I look over about 10, 20 feet away. There was a bar. I've got something in my eye. There was a bar, and there's two people sitting at the bar, and everything went dark except for there was one person was highlighted. It was like everything went dark, and one person was highlighted, and I got this download of information about this person. And I went over and I said, I know you don't know me, but I'm sitting over there, and this just happened. Is this true? And they were like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I don't know. So that happened a few times, and then it progressed. About 4 years ago, I just started channeling. Somebody would ask me a question, like somebody asked me, they were struggling with their partnership in their marriage, and they asked me about the partnership. So I plugged in, and I kind of intuitively connected, and now I know I'm connecting to this group of cosmic beings, and they showed me past lives that these people had together, and the reasons why they were experiencing what they were experiencing in their current life and their marriage, and what they were meant to do to close karmic loops in their life. And so my guides, this group of cosmic beings that I'm channeling, they started guiding me to books and information to show me what was happening to me, to show me that now I realize that I'm here to help people understand the reasons for their experience, channel in past lives if needed, even their trauma, how to understand their trauma, and what the gifts are within all of these experiences, and how they're meant to use this information to help themselves in the collective. So that's kind of the journey from leaving corporate and to now. And about a year ago, January, a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, my guide said, it's time now to help more people. And I said, okay, great. How do I do that? Because I've been doing one-on-one sessions for people all over the world. It's time to help more people. How do I do that? They said, get on TikTok. And I didn't know what TikTok was, so I didn't do it. And I kept saying, I want to help more people. Yes, let's go. And they said, get on TikTok. So finally, 9 months later, in September, October, I get on TikTok, and they told me what to start putting out there and what to channel and put out there. And now I have people reaching out to me, and I'm teaching them how to connect to their higher self. I'm teaching them how to align to their highest timeline. And what they are having me do, one of the things is sharing information about the collapse of the systems all over the world, that we're going through a massive transition in Earth's history. All of the old, all of the dark, all of this service to self structures, the main structures that are collapsing all around the globe. I've been channeling this forever now. I could say this in my sleep at this point. The main structures that are collapsing all over the world, the most corrupt, are banking and finance, Western meds, that gets blocked all the time on social media, political structures, and education, which my guides say are the most corrupt system on the planet. So I've realized, go ahead.
Religion.
Well, religion, media, and Hollywood is the glue that keeps it all together. So we've got these systems that funnel our time and our energy and our money in our belief systems. And then we've got religion, Hollywood, and the media to keep portraying to us the belief systems that cause us to believe that we have to participate in these systems and that there is no other choice. So they're all connected. So we're going through a transition, and I'm here to, like many other divine feminine souls, I'm going to put up videos about this week. Many souls have incarnated into the divine feminine, entered into these systems, and are waking up and being called out to facilitate the quickening of the collapse of these systems. Because when the divine feminine and divine masculine are pulled out of these systems, there's less of a foundation for them to continue going. Everything needs balance. And not only have we been operating so off balance for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, but there's this beautiful, one of the things that they're doing right now, they're saying one of the solutions was to infiltrate the planet with divine feminine energy, pull them out of these systems to facilitate the collapse. So that's what we're seeing now, is all of these collapsing, these systems. They cannot be saved, my guides say. They cannot be saved. They cannot be fixed. And there's people that are here to create the new systems. So I'm here to facilitate the information and to share the information to help people wake up, to say, maybe that's me. Maybe I'm here to create the new system, because I have a lot of clients in the medical system, education system, and they're here to create the new systems. So I'm here to help encourage and help facilitate and provide the space for this, so that the new systems can be created from the old ones collapsing.
Wow. And yeah, you're talking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I'm also, like, from the research and study about the feminine, these were goddesses that were beings. You know, some of them were the Anunnaki, which were different races. Like we have different races here. The Anunnaki were different races too of beings. And the females did administrative work. They did herbs. They did healing stuff. They did a lot of good stuff, but then they got removed, shut down. And then it was like the matriarch and the patriarch, and it caused that off balance. And that's why the chaos. It's like if we do not learn our ancient history, we're going to continue to repeat it, and we can't do it anymore. And with the earth shifting, we got a full moon coming tomorrow. We just had a solar eclipse. We got Mercury in retrograde. We're going to the Aquarius season coming. I mean, a lot of and you have to pay attention to the planets and the stars. Like, that's what they did back in the day. You know, they paid attention. They recorded things. So it's like, it's not history repeating itself. When you pay attention to the signs and what's coming, you can see the change. You know, not only, and then the energy turns into matter, and the earth is responding and reacting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, if we can fix our energy, heal ourselves, we're connected to the earth. The earth will change for the better too. Because we're all connected to everything.
Yes. And, you know, recently, we rediscovered, you know, that we're all connected with a field. I can't remember what they call it, but we're all connected. And so, yes, going back to what you were saying, back in the day in our ancient history, first of all, there's been many times on the planet where the women, the divine feminine, have ran the planet and things are going well and they're going smoothly because, you know, the divine feminine is our creators. We're nurturers, we're healers. And so, you know, during the ages of, you know, burning witches at the stake, you know, anybody who had special healing powers, which we are all able to do that. But the divine feminine is more in tune with those things. And anybody who was operating a threat to the system, they were burned at the stake. They were, you know, they went, you know, they were put out, right? As the earth transitioned from a more loving, nurturing space into the darkness where we're coming out of now. And so many of the women, many of the souls who had incarnated into divine feminine in the past, whether they were considered gods or they were just healers or they were whatever they were, those souls have incarnated again now to bring back that information, to bring back the knowledge, right? And so there's some soul memory. My guides are saying there's some soul memory of that. Like many of us were there during Atlantis, and you know, my understanding of and Lemuria, but Atlantis, like my understanding of Atlantis was, you know, we started playing with black matter and cloning and mixing genes, and it just was not supportive of the human race. So guess what? Start over, right? And here we are doing it again, playing with dark matter, playing with you know, dark energy and cloning and doing things that aren't supportive to us. And so all of these divine feminine, these souls are incarnating into divine feminine again, who have been here before, and there's soul memories, but more people are waking up. There's some fear, you know, I have fear. I have remembrance of, you know, there's many people who have, who hesitate to come out and be seen and heard, even though that's part of their path, because there's this soul memory of what happened to them before. But it's part of the plan. It's all part of the plan to infuse the planet with this beautiful energy.
Oh my gosh, that's probably why I've been so hesitant to come out channeling.
You're probably punished for it before. I think this might be my first incarnation, I'm starting to realize, but many people. So if you've been here before, and especially during those times, you're bringing back. And so I know, you know, I listened to one of your shows, like I was saying, you're speaking other languages. You have soul memory of other languages. And even if you don't know yet what you're saying, this is coming from soul memory of being here at another time in the divine feminine, potentially, and other times when you have witnessed similar things happening on earth. And so you decided, I haven't channeled formally for you, but you decided, I'm going to bring those memories back to the planet and I'm going to bring forth this knowledge. You would not remember these languages, and you would not be channeling if you weren't meant to use it for a reason. So if you have fear of coming out and doing that, it's probably because you've experienced some backlash in other lifetimes for doing that.
Yeah, and I'm at a point now with everything that's going on. It's like I have to. I just, no matter what, it's that urge, that yearning that's rising up in me too. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this on YouTube. Do I do this on YouTube? Do I do this on TikTok? TikTok's being banned now. So what do I do now?
Right. Yeah. That's your higher self. That's your higher self. That's your life blueprint, right? So we create a blueprint before we come, and soul contracts with people, the main people in our life, which is caregivers, partners, and children. And we also create soul contracts with experiences, like my banking experience, in order to give us the wisdom that we need to continue down the path we're on. So you feeling the nudge to start talking about this stuff is because it's like the alarm clock's going off on your timeline saying it's now time to come out and speak about this, right? So some people, when they tell me that they feel scared and I channel for them, what comes in is, you are being guided, you are being protected. If you're feeling this urgency, if you're feeling this feeling, it's because it's what you're here to do. And just know that you're being divinely guided and protected in doing it. Because it's all part of dismantling all of this darkness.
Yeah, I'm very connected, because I've been asking the guys, I'm like, you know what? This evil, dark energy, dark magic, I know they're using it. How can we fight against it? It's like, I've heard the saying, fight evil with evil. I'm like, no, that's an old program. We have to do something better, smarter. Dismantle, transmute, alchemize.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it is. And that's one of the messages they always have me putting on my TikTok channel, is that, people will say, like, we want retribution, we want, judgment, and for all this stuff. And I'm an advocate. So, I just told my story. Clearly, I also want this stuff to stop. And it was enough for me to lose my job that I even thought I was going to be there. I had it all planned out. I was the only one that stood up against it. So I understand the feeling of wanting vindication. I understand the judgment. But what my guides say constantly is, and they have me do all these drawings to make it simple, but the darkness is vibrating here, right? The pain, the suffering, the trafficking, all of the things are operating here. Judgment, anger, fear, etc., are vibrating on a similar vibration. So if we are projecting fear, anger, judgment, vindication, we are building the momentum for the darkness, because it operates on the same feeling, right?
It's like a magnet of energy.
Exactly.
So they're feeding off of our fear and all our anger and everything. They're feeding off. It's like a energy vampire.
It's not just that they're feeding, they're using it. What they've shown me is that we actually create this reality. The majority of people on this planet cannot create, not the majority of people. The majority of the people at the top of this global pyramid that have been operating, and they pass the baton on generation after generation for thousands and thousands of years, many of them are not able to create because of their vibration, or because they're not human creators. And so they project through the media, religion, politics, Hollywood. They project what it is that they want us to believe, which lowers our vibration, and then that actually creates the reality that they want. So if they are projecting in the media the wars and the mayhem and train derailments and all of this stuff that brings us fear, now we are envisioning in our mind war and mayhem and train derailment. So when we're envisioning these things, combined with our vibrational, where we're at vibrationally, which is fear and anger and wanting vindication, all that stuff, that literally creates this reality. So we have to, they always say this, we got to turn off the news. If you're watching social media and somebody who you're watching is bringing you fear, bringing you low vibration, turn them off, unfollow them. If somebody is bringing you, is raising your vibration, it's helping to open your mind to truth, right? Follow them. But watch where your vibration is, because when you combine your vibration with what you're envisioning, so if you're envisioning peace and love and the darkness dismantling and us living with all together in love and harmony, and you're envisioning that, and you feel what that feels like, and you can hold that vibration, you literally are contributing to all of that being created. So they know what they're doing. They're manipulating our minds and our beliefs and our emotions to create the very reality that creates the system that we're trying to get out of. So it's a weird, ironic.
Yeah, and that's like insanity in a way. Because we're wanting different results, but we stay in the system. We stay in that program. And that's what I've been teaching about: overcoming limited beliefs, programs, and emotional energetic traumas. Yep. From the womb, from the beginning of our creation, we have a false identity of who we are because of what we were taught to believe and whatnot. So that's my thing of what I'm trying to teach and share. So it's like once you wake up, you're going on this ancestor like DNA rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then you ask a question, you get the answer, but it leads to another question, and it's ongoing. It never stops.
I know. And they say, two things are coming in here. They say, watch how much time we're spending on this stuff, because you also are here to enjoy being human. They say, you didn't just come here to break the system, to dismantle the system. You're also here to enjoy being human, petting the dog, having the glass of wine if you want the glass of wine, going for the hike, going for the drive, swimming in the ocean. They're like, they always say, don't waste the human incarnation, because there's so many souls who would love to come here and experience the whole range of emotions and feel what it feels like to put on clothes and like water a plant. Those little things, like there are souls that want to experience that. So they always tell me, careful how much you're going, I can't be channeling all day, because then years go by and what have I done to enjoy being human? So they warn, they always tell me about that. But also, when you first wake up, when I first woke up, there was two things going on. I was getting psychic downloads and channeling, which I've always had these gifts, but I shut them down. We all are taught to shut them down when we come out of the womb. We shut down the gifts, right? And then some of us, they come back. But one of the first things I stumbled upon after I woke up, there's two types of awakening: the spiritual awakening, that you're a soul in a human body, and then also the awakening that you're on a slave planet, that you didn't even realize we're all enslaved to the system, right? Nobody questions everything we've been told and we've been taught. So one of the first things I stumbled upon was, maybe the earth isn't round, maybe it's flat. And I was stuck on that. I was like, oh my God, they lied to us about the earth. And they lied to us about the moon landing. They lied, all these little basic things. And they kept bringing me higher. And so sometimes now in my videos, people will be like, why do you keep saying the earth is a globe? It's flat. And my guides will be like, who cares if the earth is flat or round? There's bigger fish to fry. We need to dismantle the darkness. So when you wake up, you get caught in these little webs of things that like you have to let go of in order to get to the bigger things that are going on here that we're meant to wake up to.
Yeah. And you know what, you talk about the earth being flat or globe. There's a book of Enoch, who actually went up into one of the spaceships, and the language, and you got to understand, the language back then is so different than what we know now. It was a spaceship, for crying out loud. They weren't angels, they were aliens. But he described looking at the earth being round, a sphere. So based on that testimony, I could like, hey, and even I've had, I think, out of body experiences and was able to see it for myself. It just makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't told anyone this yet on my channel. This is the first that I'm going to say this here. But one of the things that they showed me when the angels visited me, the most prominent thing that I remember them showing me was the earth from space. And it was real. It wasn't an idea. It wasn't an image. I was literally seeing it. They were literally showing me as if I was on a spaceship looking at it myself. It was that real. And now I wonder, were they giving me a memory of something I've seen before? I don't know what it was, and it doesn't matter, but they showed me earth was round. But I don't say that because it makes a lot of people upset, because people are stuck on they're stuck on this, right? And they say all the time, it doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. Like, don't get stuck on those things. Go higher than that. And what they say is, we've been lied to about everything. So don't be stuck on whether the earth is flat or round. And they've also shown me too with the earth, whether it's flat or round, that it depends on the way you look at it, depends on the dimension you're in. So, maybe in some dimension, the earth looks flat. I don't know, but they're saying it doesn't matter. What matters is waking up overall to the fact that we've been lied to since birth, but the answers are out there. And if you ask your higher self to guide you, like you have been, and like Sean has been from Out of the Matrix, if you ask your higher self to guide you, you will be brought to the truth, and then you get to discern for yourself, right?
Right. If you really, and you start questioning what you believe. The truth is inside.
And why?
And that's what I connected to when I hear and see truth. I feel it. That's what I know what's true and what not now.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah, and I say that too a lot to people, or I say this a lot in my videos. You get to discern what's truth for you, right? And if you get to discern, or you get to find out why you believe what you would believe. And I talk about this in my videos, or my guides, they bring this in all the time, which is asking yourself the question, why do you believe what you believe? Where did it come from? And when you realize that it's not your belief, and how you can discern whether or not it's your belief or not is, did you believe something and go and do research, and the research then changed your mind to something else? That is a belief that you've now chosen for yourself. But most of the things that we believe are our beliefs because we were told it in school or in religion or from a teacher or from a pastor or from the media, right? And so you don't even realize that you're walking around, your whole life is built with belief systems that aren't even yours, but no one ever tells us to go and do an inventory. So they say all the time, do an inventory. Why do you believe what you believe in religion? About participating in these systems, right? It's if when you trace it back, it's going to probably go back to childhood, and no one ever questioned it.
Because we didn't know better. And honestly, our parents didn't know better because they were going with the same program. A lot of it's like you got to work hard for your money.
Right.
Money's not made out of trees, but in a way it is. It's paper, and just like I was brought up in the Southern Baptist religion, and a lot of fear. You're gonna go to hell, and if you don't get saved, Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins. And I even questioned someone like, the Adam and Eve story. I'm like, let me tell you something. If a serpent came up and started talking to me, I'd scream and run the other way. Let's get real. It's like, use common sense. They were doing things symbolic and metaphorically.
Totally.
And it's like, oh, really? Adam and Eve was the first person, right? Okay, well, Cain left and came back with a wife. Where did she come from? Think.
Well, totally. And we get gaslit, we get gaslit constantly. But the great thing about this day and age, though, because if you think about it, 50, 100, 200 years ago, where are you going to have access to? Where can you get other information? There was only access to what we were being told, right? There's only access to the books that were being given in school. But now we have access to books that people have written who have actually viewed the ancient scrolls and who have viewed the ancient texts, but we didn't have access to that stuff. So it is an interesting time right now. My guides always say it's an unprecedented time because of the internet and because of modern day technology. We have access now to alternative narratives, which in my research is truth. But you got to do the research for yourself. We have access to alternative narratives and the truth of things that we didn't have access to before. So that's why, we are still very, very, they're saying this right now. We're very, very, very new to having the ability to access more information than what was just given to us. And they're reminding me that, like the Bible and things like that, when you go back and you look at the days that and the times where the Bible was written or changed, it was during certain times of rule, right? So like whoever was ruling at the time is going to manipulate the words of the Bible or the book in order to manipulate their people. But again, 50, 100 years ago, nobody questioned the information that we're being given because there is no access to alternative information. So that's why today, feel lucky, everybody out there who might be starting to question their beliefs and say, you know what, 50, 100 years ago, you might not have had access to anything else, but you do now. So now it's your responsibility to discern for yourself what you want to be your truth, but you can only do that if you challenge the narrative you've been given. So you have to do the research.
Yeah, and I just found out that there was 13 months in a year. And it's in an older Bible, and Sunday was always the first day of the month. 13 months, because they went under the moon cycle. And I think it was Sol was another month added. And there was only 28 days every month. And April was the first of the year, the beginning of the year, because of spring. And I found that like, wow. So that means my zodiac is wrong. Uh-oh. We froze.
There you go. You froze for a couple minutes. Are you back?
Yeah. But we're back. I was like, wait, what happened? But yeah, and I was thinking about my zodiac sign because it changed by a month. So then if that's the case, now I'm thinking, okay, so if I'm this, then I'm not in September. I'm in like 9. I'd be a 7. And then I have to do my numerology. So I'm like looking into that now. Yeah. And I'm going to a numerologist like, hey, did you know about this? Because we're all living in a weird, like we have a false identity based even on when we were born. And our year in Ethiopia, they're 8 years behind. Or 8 years. Yeah, they're 8 years behind in their calendar year.
Interesting. Yeah. And that goes back to what you were saying in the beginning. You know, we used to operate by the stars. We can tell based on planetary positions and astrologically, we can tell where we're at, where we're going, what to expect and how to prepare. But all of that stuff has been kept from us because they don't want us to know. They want us to be completely in the dark. You know, they know how all that stuff works and they use that stuff to their advantage. You know, they use there's gods of lots of this is not my realm, this is more you and Sean's realm, but there are dark gods, right? Gods of not good things that I think one of them is either in front of CERN or NASA. Like when you start to realize that these systems, the biggest systems around the world, they know they're working with the astrological projections. They are some of the signs and symbols on their their emblems and their branding is from astrological things, is from gods of certain things. But we're not taught that stuff on purpose, because if we recognized those things, we would start to wake up. So they are operating within the cosmic realm. They're operating within that territory, and we don't know about it because it keeps us in the dark. So when we start to wake up and realize, oh, we can start getting prepared, we can prepare ourselves for things by understanding astrology and astronomy and going back to the old ways of doing things, which we're starting to talk about that stuff now, then we can start to get a leg up on the system. But we've been kept, the rug's been pulled out from under us on purpose to keep us in the dark.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. It sounds crazy, but then when you start paying attention and becoming mindful and aware, you start connecting the dots. And that's what I keep telling, like, get your Nancy Drew hat on and start connect. It's like you're finding clues and you're connecting the dots. Yep. And then things start making more sense.
Yep. You have to be open to the truth though, and there's such a thing as cognitive dissonance, and cognitive dissonance goes so deep. And that's why my guys are always saying it's not our job to wake people up. It's our job to just keep sharing the truth. And then when something will make sense with someone at some point. But cognitive dissonance is so strong that many people won't wake up in this lifetime. And so for anybody, when I see people sharing these things on social media, a lot of times they get a lot of hate in their comments. Mm-hmm. And it's because people are so stuck on their belief system. When they feel like their belief system that they've believed their whole life is challenged, they lash out in anger and hate. And what that comes from, my guides say, because I've channeled this, is it comes from fear. If all of a sudden something you've believed your whole life, that you have structured your life around, right? Religion, one thing, right? What they tell you about religion and God and all that. If all of a sudden that is threatened, then you have to now question everything in your reality. And that is terrifying for a lot of people, right? You start questioning everything that you're told. You start to question everything that you've watched on the news, everything that you've been told in church, and that that could shift your whole life. So people get drip campaigned the information in a way that they can absorb it in the time that they can absorb it. But many people are not going to wake up in this lifetime, because the truth of what's really going on is too big for a lot of people to handle. So if you're feeling threatened, this is for everybody listening or watching, if you're feeling threatened by someone else's opinion about things, if you're hearing people talk about ancient history and it goes against what you learned in the Bible or in church or whatever, then prove yourself right and go do the research. Go read some of these books. Go down the rabbit hole. And if at the end of this you still are holding on to your belief, then you can call that belief yours. But at the end of it, if it changes your mind, then you're on the right track to starting to open your mind up to what's really happening here and how you can shift your life into a way that you can remove yourself from the slavery systems.
Well, I just tell them, like, well, why do you believe what you believe? Did your parents tell you that?
Yeah.
Because it goes right from there. When you're a child, your parents start telling you, and then you start school, and then they start telling you, and then the parents take you to church, and then you're getting more. So it's like, look and evaluate. Yep. And like, why do you believe what you believe?
Yeah.
Where did it begin?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel
I talk a lot about that on my channel, because that's what Go ahead. I was gonna say my guides bring this up a lot. And that's probably one of the reasons why you were drawn to the content, because it's what you're saying, which is they say the whole system is set up to remove it, to disconnect us from our heart. Really are. So that we come out of the womb, our parents are regurgitating to us what they were taught, right? Then we go to church. Many people go to church and they're told their regurgitation. And then they go to school, and the teachers, who also have not woke up yet, are regurgitating what they taught. And none of these people have questioned why they believe what they believe. If what they're being told is real, if what they're being told is true, where's the proof? Where's the facts? Just because it's in a book with a drawing doesn't mean, in a history book, doesn't mean that it's fact. So nobody questions these things. So the system is set up from the time we can go to the bathroom on our own. We are now hearing it in school. We're in a grading and punishment system. If you can regurgitate, and what I've learned, and this, I don't mean to offend anyone, but the more education people have, I've seen, I know some double PhDs, people in my family and close, there's people I know very well. The more education people have, the harder it is for them to like consider something else could be true, right? Because they've been in the system now for so long. It's not just grade school, middle school, high school. It's now college. It's grad school, and some people who have multiple degrees, like, so they're hearing over and over and over the same message. And that's hard. Then now you're 30, 40, 50 hearing the same message. And that's why it's so hard to wake up sometimes for some of these people, because we trusted these systems. We've given these systems hundreds and thousands of our dollars. So why would we not believe what they're telling us? And I guess that's the rub, right? It's to say, well, maybe it's not real. Maybe it's not right. And I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and do research, and not just take for granted what someone is telling me is true. I'm going to go decide for myself what's true and go do the research.
Critical thinking. And Thomas Paine.
Oh, you're frozen.
He was into he was a freedom thinker movement, and he wrote oh my gosh, Common Sense. And yeah, I read his book, and he was like in the early, what was it, 1700s. Oh, we froze. No. Hello. Oh my gosh, we froze. She froze. Heather, come back. Open lines of connection. Connect.
There we are.
Oh, I was like, connect.
You're back.
Yeah, Thomas.
Now I command it.
And he was you got to check it out. It's Common Sense, and there was another book that I have. It's on my phone. I'm getting into, like, I used to read books. I still have books that I'm reading, but I'm into the audio part now. Like, I gotta have the audio. For some reason, it's the tone and vibration and frequencies now. So I'm looking up audiobooks.
Yeah. I do Audible too. I didn't hear what you were saying before, that who you were referencing, because it cut out.
Thomas Paine, Common Sense. He
okay.
was in the freedom thinking movement. I think it was in the early 1700s.
There we go. Okay. You're back. You just froze again.
I don't know what's going on. Sorry.
Sometimes this happens. Yeah, I'm also commanding it to continue, but
yeah, the energy.
Yes. Yeah, it could be the energy. So when you were talking about vibration and frequency, you know, and that's another way they use Hollywood, right? In the music industry, as you probably can see, right? They and this is what I also channel. It's what I've been channeling. I learned all this in the last, couple of years. I didn't know any of this stuff before, but the higher up you rise in the fame and fortune train, right? Whether it's humanitarian work or music industry, Hollywood, you're allowed to rise to fame and fortune because you've signed contracts to be able to go to rise to fame and fortune in exchange for certain things. So it's very nefarious. So as you can see, like the music industry, the biggest, I don't even have to tell you, people can look this up for themselves. The biggest music people have you seen their concerts? Have you seen all of the symbolism for the dark and the devil and black magic? It's like they are doing everything they can to use vibration and energy to control people, right? It's just right in their faces now. It's super, super obvious. And I just watched a little snippet of, there's this movie called, I think it's called The End of the World. I can't remember. There's Julia Roberts is in it and Ethan Hawke. And I watched it and I did not like it. It had a really bad feeling, and I can handle a lot. I mean, I used to be able to watch everything. I can't anymore because I can feel my vibration low. But so somebody who's in took away all of like the talking in that movie, and they said that there was tones in that movie that they've never seen before that are like such toxic low vibrational tones. They are now putting it in movies, vibration and frequencies in movies. So everybody who's watching it, not only is the movie scary, but there are literal tones that can change your frequency in the movie to lower your vibration. So it's all around us. We have to be, that's why my guys are always saying, be careful what you listen to, be careful because you might not be able to see or hear anything, but it's subliminal. It's underlining. It's something that your subconscious picks up on. So we have to be really careful about what concerts are we watching? What movies are we watching? What are we doing? Is it raising your vibration or not? And if it's not raising your vibration, it's part of the system of control to try to trap us.
Yeah, I always listen to feel good music. Lindsey Sterling, Michael Bublé playlist, my 80s playlist, the roller skating disco music, where you want to get up and dance and move your body, and it feels good. That's how I that's part of my meditation. Sometimes I'm in my car and I'm like, okay, it's time to jam. Let's go. And I just put it on my playlist and I just jam.
Yep. It's needed. Whenever I channel, I listen to, I plug in shamanic drumming, and that plugs me right into my channel. There's I think 432 hertz. There's certain hertz, you can go online if you want to meditate. You can go to YouTube and you can find higher vibrational things to listen to. But we are in a war right now. We're in a frequency and vibration war. You could call it a war for our minds. You could call it a war for our, souls. And if you would have told me this 5-10 years ago, it would have gone one ear out the other because I wasn't awake yet. But it's true, it's real, and I can see it everywhere, and I'm channeling it all the time, that everything that we listen to and that we bring into our life, and that's why my guides are always saying, make small changes in your life, leave the job, leave the partnership, set boundaries, whatever it is to raise your vibration, because we're in a war for our vibration and frequency. The dark can continue operating. The lies can keep on being kept from us, or the truth can keep being kept from us the more we operate in this low vibrational frequency. And sometimes people don't understand why they're operating, why they feel so down every day. And it's, what are we putting in our body? What are you watching? What are you listening to? It's inundated into everything. So when you wake up and you realize that, right? And then you can start making small choices. And when you shift your own reality, you then have a collective, you have an impact on tens and hundreds of thousands of people around you. So that's why this is so critical. It's like to change the vibration and the frequency of your own life actually impacts the planet. Right. We're connected, like you said.
And we are. And like I said earlier, like there's a book called The Answers in the Blood. And it's from another doctor. I think it was like in the 1970s, 80s, 90s that she wrote it. I'm not sure. But I went to the blood, like, because I'm O positive. So I went right to blood type O's. And I was reading what foods resonated with my body type. I was like, oh my God, no wonder I crave this, and this. I was tuning into what my body was wanting. And then it also showed what to stay away from. I can't stand pinto beans, lima beans, all those kidney beans. I can't. Nope. I just, nope. And I'm like, no wonder why.
And no one teaches us this, right? No one teaches us stuff. And it's this is stuff that they've always known. Again, astronomy, astrology, all these old tools. This. The system is set up, and even the people in the system, there's so many beautiful people in the medical system that got into it to do good, but they only know what they were taught, and they're not taught these things on purpose. Because if we're taught how to eat for our blood type, if we're taught that when we have skin rashes or ulcers, that a pill isn't going to fix it, that we need to change something in our life, we need to change the way we're living. If we were taught that, then the medical system wouldn't. They're not going to make a bunch of money. They're not going to make money from us. So the system is set up. I have to say, I'm thankful for, many things in the medical system, emergencies. If you break a leg, I don't know yet how to heal my leg, but as far as like when you have a problem, a symptom, anxiety, worry, depression, and you're given pills, instead of told, let's test your blood, let's see what food you're eating or not eating that we could change to help serve you, right? Those things aren't taught to us because we need to stay sick.
Not only that, but if you do a gene factor test of your blood, you can find out what deficiencies you have and what blood disorder. I know this from my own personal experience with my daughter, and we didn't even know this until she got pregnant. And they did a gene screening and found she's a silent carrier for an alpha thalassemia and MCAD. So me and her are sitting there researching, I gave this to you. How did this happen? But she had all the symptoms and she's been misdiagnosed. She had every symptoms from this blood disorder and deficiency. If somebody would have done that and helped guide her with the right supplements that her body would be able to absorb to bring her balance, she wouldn't be suffering. And it's like, I think $600, a one-time investment to get this gene factor testing done, and it would change your life forever.
Yeah, but they can't, again, first of all, they're not taught, the medical system's not taught to do that, right? On purpose. And also, I've seen this a little bit, but I've channeled this a lot. Doctors and this is kind of pretty prominent. They get paid with how many patients they see, right? Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's different than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, that when you go in, it's like rush. They're on the computer the whole time making notes. They maybe have a minute or two to talk to you and they're on to the next patient. And I was listening to someone who used to own a medical practice, and they said they loved their patients, but then it got gobbled up by big med. And they were then graded on how many people they saw per day, and they were running ragged because the system is set up to make money at the top. It's not set up to fix us. It's not set up to help us become healthy. So these things aren't even taught to these people in the medical system because they're meant to keep us. The system doesn't make money if we're well, right? So they have to just give us pills. And if you watch the commercials, I don't even listen to commercials anymore, but if you watch all the side effects for the medicine, they're more dangerous than the actual thing that the pill's supposed to help, right? So it's like, why aren't we going to the root? Like food, sun, anxiety, stress, eliminating things from our life. We can't go to the root, because if we fix ourselves, then we don't participate in the system and make them any more money.
And that's got to change. That's changing. It's beginning to change.
It is changing, and it is. The system has to collapse, though, because that system can't be fixed. That system is it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a building that's collapsing. My guys say this all the time. The systems can't be fixed, and that's why the soul's incarnating into divine feminine and divine masculine in these systems that they doesn't feel right anymore. They're not meant to stay there anymore. They're meant to Oh, you're back. They're meant to go create the new system. So we're in a bridge. We're in a transition of the old is still going to go for a while. It's on its last gasp, right? But it's meant to collapse, and the new ones are meant to be created, because we can't fix the old. It's just, they can't be fixed. They're so old and they're so decrepit, and we're moving into, I don't know a lot about this, but I've heard you mention it, the age of Aquarius. So we're moving away from the systems that are service to self, these people at the top of the globe that are service to self. It's all about us making them money, right? We're moving away from that in general into a time of service to others. So systems that truly serve each other, bartering, trading, things that actually support the collective and not just the 1% at the top.
Yep.
We're here for it. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. And they were doing it way back then, and it did good until something happened and changed. So I'm all for that. Yeah. And then the crypto, I need to learn about that. But yeah, because then it's amongst ourselves. Nobody controlling it, from my understanding. I'm still learning. I'm learning from Sean. I told him, I'm like, I'm going to sign up for that course. And I definitely,
he's taught me too.
I'm going to go see his course, but I definitely want you to share. I know you have something that you're in the works, a course of something. So please share with the audience your coming projects that you're going to share.
Okay. So I've been doing one-on-one sessions, for the last handful of years, and I want to help more people, but I'm very selective with who I work with, because it's such a draining experience. So it's a full body thing. So I can only do a handful, I can only do a certain amount. So I've been guided the last year and a half, and it's close. It's to create a membership community. So it's going to be a private membership community where I'll be doing most of my channeling in there. I'll get some snippets on social media, but since I get blocked a lot, I get shadow banned a lot. So I'm going to move that into membership community, and we're going to be working on how to strengthen our spiritual gifts as well. So more people, because so many of my clients, a lot of what they want to do is learn how to hear their higher self. So I'm going to be doing that in groups within the membership community, and I'm working on master classes right now, so to help people with some of these things. So since they're trying to ban any social media platform that's freedom of speech, my guides are telling me it's time to move in it and create this membership community. So I've got that going on. You can sign up for that on my website. So go on and sign up through the contact form, or there's a pop-up to do that. I'll send you the link. And then also I've just created, and it should be up in the next day or two, a free Connect to Your Higher Self challenge, which are some of the steps that I took to start connecting to my higher self that led me to channeling. So I'm sharing all of the tools that I have and all the tools I've been channeling for clients for years with the masses, so that we can all become our own channels and start learning to discern for ourselves what steps to take to help us navigate through this unprecedented time. Because there's going to be more collapse. There's going to be more trauma. We're in the middle of it right now. And the more that people can connect to their higher self and come together with, that's why I'm creating this community with like-minded people to support and encourage and find other people that want to create the new systems. The more we can do that, then the faster these things can collapse. So you can sign up on my website for both of those things.
And I put the link down below in the notes, so everyone can get access to that. So I'm excited. I want to sign up for that class just to, be in a collective, like-minded group. So I look forward to joining in that. And I definitely want to even have a session with you as well.
Super cool. Yeah, I'd love to.
It was a pleasure being with you today. And I wish you the best of success and just keep going. I love your soul, your energy. You're a beautiful goddess in this human being that you're in. You really are. You
Aw.
shine so bright. You really do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the encouragement. You're gonna make me cry.
And I see there's like this. Now I don't know if it's my camera or you have something burning, but there's like this mist around you. And
Wow,
it's
I don't
white.
see it. I don't see it. It could be my angels. Sometimes orbs come in and they float around while I'm talking. They're probably my soul family. I don't know. So you're probably seeing
I'm
that.
like, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things lately. It's been crazy.
Lean into it. Lean into it. It really feels like I'd love to channel formally for you, but it really feels like um, your gifts are going to continue to expand, and you were meant to share truth, and just keep leaning into these gifts as they expand, because this is what you're here for. You're here to use these to help the collective, and you're here for the awakening. You're here to help usher it in.
Oh, I'm getting hit. Yeah. It's like changes my neck. People think like, are you having a seizure? I'm like, no. It feels like it, but I'm not. But it's like the body. We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And we chose it. And, many of us, we chose to be here. We chose to be here. And I tell people that a lot. We chose to be here. So start asking your higher self, how can I make the most of this life? I'm here for the awakening. Many people are here to help usher in the awakening for everyone else. They woke up first. They're doing things like this, sharing truth, and just ask your higher self, how can I create the most beautiful, abundant life for myself while I'm here working?
Yeah,
because we're working. This is a job.
Oh yeah, that's it. And just show me the way to where I can live my life, be abundant, and yes, have the wealth and work and do what I'm supposed to do while I'm here.
Exactly. We can have it all. We're just told we can't have any of it, but that's not true. We can
No,
have
it's
it all.
not. Out of the matrix.
Yeah.
Like Sean said.
Totally. And I kind of mentioned this, and I know we're probably at the end, but when I channeled for Sean, one of his questions, I'm just sorry, Sean, I'm gonna share. He told me I could share it, and I did share it on my channel, but he said one of my questions is, did I get tricked into this? Like, what? Was I coerced into this? And so I'm like, let me see. And I looked, and he's actually a leader of a team that goes around and shares truth on multiple planets to help wake people up. And so I said, actually, not only were you not coerced, but you're the leader. So it's time to own it. It's time to be like, all right, I'm here. Yeah.
Wow. So can you like share something a little bit about me and why like the I'm here to do the awakening, but with the channeling of the languages and whatnot. What's the purpose of that? Like,
let me see. Let me ask my guides, but to really do it justice, all of my sessions are 90 minutes long because there's so much information that comes in. It's not like a normal psychic reading where you just get like little, it's so in depth. They have hours. I always tell people there's hours of content here for you. And so we have to choose the pieces to talk about in any given session because there's always so much. So, but let me just tune in here and see what message they have for you. It takes me a minute or two, so let me just go plug in here. Yeah. So it probably won't be a surprise, but and I'd love to go deeper on this. But they're saying, so from a high level perspective, they're so funny. They're like, here's the cliff notes. Is that you're here to bring forth the old and bring it back. You're here to bring back the ancient. They're saying the old, right? So part of that is the language. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna ask a question about this in a second. Part of it's the language, but the reason why you've gone down these rabbit holes, kind of like Sean, is because you're meant to bring this stuff forth. And they're saying that the way that you bring it forth is different than the way other people bring it forth because of your unique experiences, not just in this life, but other lifetimes. And so there's many of these you are needed to bring this information forth. Okay. And so let me just say, they're saying, to sum that up, or to wrap that up, it's because the old ways of doing things have been hidden from us, but we need to call on the old ways of doing things to create the new world. But where are we going to get that knowledge? Where are we going to find that knowledge? You're one of the people that's here to bring this forward, to say, these are the tried and true things, right? I have a lot of clients that are here, they're experimenting with plants. They don't know why they were doing it. It's because they're here to bring forward the fact that Mother Earth provides all the things we need to relieve pain, to relieve anxiety, skin rashes, whatever it is, right? So you're part of the Calvary, they're saying, to bring forward the ancient traditions that have been tried and true, that have been lost, because we need those in creating the new systems. So that's what they're saying first, but there was something else about the language. Let me just see. Okay, there's a couple of things with the language, but the first couple of things, feels like there's 2 or 3 things. So the first message about the languages is that it's connected to this stuff. So you're bringing soul memory back. So you going down the rabbit hole to learn these things is, you already know many of these things. Your soul knows it, but you can't have selective memory recall in this incarnation, right? We forget who we are before we come. We forget all these things, right? So your higher self is guiding you down these rabbit holes of things to recall the information that you already know as a soul. And part of, along with that, you're going to start recalling other things, if you have, which is language for one. And if you haven't already, you're going to start getting glimpses of past lives. You're going to start getting, there's other things that are going to start happening to you the more you go down this rabbit hole. They're saying, lean into it. Work on releasing any resistance, they're saying, to it, because you're going to be taken on the fast track, they're saying. So some of this fear that you mentioned before that you were feeling, they're saying, work on dissipating that. You're protected, you're safe, because you're meant to bring this stuff forward now. And then another reason for the language is, they're saying that they want you to start talking about this. They want you to start using this language in public, because there's other people who have spoken some of these languages also out loud in their life, and you're meant to find some of these people. You have things in common with these people, and they're also here with similar memories and recall. And so it's almost like you're finding the other people. They're saying, the way they're saying is that it's so wild. I've never seen this before. They're saying that the language or languages that are coming forth through you are meant to be a beacon to connect you with other people that are also experiencing these languages, to bring you together, because you guys have a common denominator. You have like there's some commonalities about what you guys are here to do, because they said there's strength in numbers. So it's also going to help you find your tribe.
Oh, awesome. So, yeah. Okay, go out in public and start just channeling. That's going to be
on social media, but you can do it in public too. But they're saying you're going to find more people online than you are going out and talking and yelling it in a restaurant. You know, you're going to find maybe they're online. So they're saying, go on social media, Instagram, TikTok for now. We'll see what happens with TikTok. I'm not sure if we'll really see the end. We'll see. There's different timelines they're showing me. There's timelines where it goes away. There's timelines where it doesn't. But they're saying that's where you're going to find your tribe. And they're saying, like, in my membership community, if you came in there, right, it's I'm getting ringing in my ears saying this, like people like that. This is why they're telling me to create this, because I'm meant to bring the people together that are meant to build together. So if you came into this community and you said, I'm speaking this language, does anyone else do it? There's going to be people that go, yes, I do too. And then you can go create a little, maybe once a week time where you guys get together and figure out, what are you here to do? You're here to work together. So they're saying the language is a way to call in your and find your people. Yeah. So do it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm definitely going to book a session with you later. I will reach out to you. And I encourage everybody else that's watching this, if you have questions and you would like some guidance and some insight about connecting with your higher self, or what you're here, what your purpose is, what your blueprint, soul contract, this is the person to go see. She is dynamite. She's awesome and truly amazing, and has helped many Many people transformed their lives once they found out what their purpose and soul contract was. It just changes your whole meaning of life and perspective of life and guides you. So thank you so much, Heather. It was truly an honor, and I'm just truly blessed to have you. I'm just like, this experience has been amazing. Thank you. Uh-oh. Did we freeze?
Okay, you're back.
Okay. So thank you again. It was truly a pleasure. I'm going to close the show for now, but I'm going to put you in the back office for a moment.
Okay.
There you go. I hope this was insightful, enlightenment, and a little educational for you. So please check Heather out. She's awesome and amazing and here to help you on your journey.